caught a guy in my girlfriend bed last night, 26F, 24M. So last night me and my girlfriend was in a bit of an argument that she initiated, and then after I just bit my tongue and apologized to her, she completely ignored the apology and went on about something else. The argument was that I didn't feel comfortable with her hanging out with this guy in her room alone, especially after he made some uncomfortable verbal advances to her. She then later the night told me she understood and she wouldn't have him in her room alone anymore. But when she went Mia for 2 hours, I got a little curious and something deep inside me kept telling me to go over to her house. Like an echoing voice in the back of my head saying go to her house. So I eventually went over to her house after I got off my second job, and as I pulled in she texted saying she's been reading a book. I text her regularly like, okay, that's cool, I hope you're enjoying the book. Right after I sent that last text I walk into her room and right there I see this guy we just had this discussion about laid up in her bed. She tried saying that his ribs were broken and he needed help. But she's not a nurse nor a doctor? So I'm like, what the fuck? Why would your friends drop him off at your house? Why not take him to the hospital? He could have internal bleeding of something along the lines. So I'm obviously upset and I'm losing my mind. He starts talking shit to me and then I end up threatening him, but I didn't hurt anyone. She just kept saying he can't afford the hospital, but I mean, man, you're gonna have to go to the hospital over some broken ribs eventually, lol. So this was all suspicious from the jump, especially after she just told me she wouldn't have this guy in her room alone anymore. She then texted me and said that she knows she fucked up for not telling me but she wasn't sorry for it. So I broke up with her right then and there. Mind you, she has a habit of lying to me about various things, and each time I've broken up with her for something along the lines she's crawled back to me begging for me back and practically acting like she's changed. But at this point, I'm so mentally and emotionally exhausted, drained, I don't even want to eat or work. I have only been eating once a day for the last month because the deep depression she's caused me. How do I move on and heal? TDLR. I caught my girlfriend with a guy in her bed after she told me she wouldn't have him over anymore after he's made uncomfortable verbal advances to her. I recently recovered from broken ribs. You know what you don't do? Drive, cuddle, effing move in any direction because it hurts. Walk away. She's a terrible person and a bad liar. She's not your girlfriend. Block her and go no contact. Remove messages and photos of you two together, basically anything that reminds you of her. Do not respond to her at all. Can I just ask you why you kept going back to her after the lying? I am a very firm believer that when someone shows you who they really are, you need to believe them. And I also strongly believe that you shouldn't keep doing the same things over and over expecting a different result. It just doesn't happen. I wouldn't trust her as far as I could throw her, so yeah, it'd be gone. Like she never even existed. Just move on and hopefully you'll be more selective next time with whom you choose to trust. Good luck. What is this post even? Has to be fake. Tell her she ain't shit but a two-faced, sneaky lying pile of dog shit, and she deserves however terribly this guy treats her when he's done with her physically. Going NC is the only way. She will say anything to get you back under her control. She isn't sorry she did it, she's sorry she got caught. She lied right to your face after heavily gaslighting you over this guy. You'd be a complete idiot to go back to her. My 30M wife, 32F, tested positive for chlamydia. We've been married for roughly 10 years at this point. Things haven't been great the past few years, but we are both actively working on making our relationship better. She springs on me today that she just got word from her doctor that she tested positive for BV and, more significantly to me, chlamydia. Cue the, do you have anything you need to tell me? I, genuinely, have never touched another person during our relationship. She says the only two ways she would have gotten it is if I was unfaithful, no, or that she borrowed her friend's sex toy back in December. I have not been tested yet, however after searching online I do have symptoms in line with chlamydia. I've been sick lately so I was just chalking it up to that, but I guess not. She said the doctor said a BV swab can show a false positive for chlamydia, so she is getting retested in a few days, but after connecting the dots I would be very surprised if it was a false positive. I desperately want to believe that this is a mistake or because of the sharing of sex toys, very strange to me, but I'm not female so IDK. I wish I was more confident, but things have been hit or miss for the past few years as we are working out issues. She has, in the past few months, become increasingly attached to her phone. Posting numerous stories on Snapchat per day, messaging people on Snapchat, etc. At this point I fear I'm just overanalyzing, but I'm not sure where to go, what to do from here. Obviously I'm hoping for a false positive, but given my symptoms I don't have much hope there. Is it possible to get it from sharing sex toys? Is that a thing people do? Update. Sorry for not updating or responding. This is a throwaway account OBVS and it's a bit of a pain for me to go back and forth to answer some questions. This isn't AI, WTF? She accused me, asking if I had anything to tell her. She seemed very angry, then suddenly switched to very sorry, then slightly annoyed-ish, and has remained that way so far. I have not made any accusations or reciprocated the question. Yes, I have an appointment to get myself tested tomorrow, so we will see how that goes. No, we have not been in contact with any koalas. Her friend is a female. She at first said, it was either you or female friend. I was unhappy with that, as she's joked about girl before, and I did tell her I considered that cheating. She shortly afterwards clarified that she had been drinking and borrowed one of her sex toys. I haven't asked for further details yet. We have always had a great sex life, we have children, cars, house, etc. together. It would be extremely difficult to untangle our lives, not to mention very financially impactful. I guess I am clinging on to the hope that this is somehow not what it very obviously seems to be. It has been years since I've been tested, never felt the need to, as I'd never been unfaithful, nor had I had any glaringly obvious symptoms. Women do not share sex toys unless they're a couple. Like, that is an absolutely preposterous excuse. No, women don't share sex toys. Oh, she 100% cheated op. Maybe even 200%. The fact she even came up with the sex toy story is a red flag that she knows exactly how she got it and will never tell you. I'd tell her you're leaving her unless she comes clean. When she does, leave her anyways. Chlamydia is a dormant STD, and usually I lean towards that being a possibility for these type of situations. But 10 years together and her story is that she contracted it from shared sex toys from a friend? Which is disgusting the more I think about it. Hey, mind if I borrow your dildo? Who the F asks that? Might as well share used tampons at that point. I cannot imagine two friends sharing sex toys. Most people would probably rather fork over the money to avoid sharing toys. Nah, the story far from checks out for me, and I call bullshit here. My money is on cheating on got busted through contracted STDs. Chlamydia can survive for up to 24 hours on wet fabric and 30 minutes on dry fabric, so unless she's using a sex toy directly out of her friend's kitty, it's not possible to catch it. She's cheating and she gave you an STD. The sex toy story is just ludicrous. I, 32F, said yes to his 38M proposal but no to the ring. How do we move forward? Essentially, my partner and I had been speaking about marriage for a long time. Near the beginning of 2024 I started sending him pictures of rings that I liked, even though we had agreed to go ring shopping together. We have a shared album of nearly 60 pictures of rings and they're all the same, a colored stone and gold band with some intricate details. It's important to note that I specifically don't like diamonds or silver. He has always known this and bought me jewelry in the past, never silver or diamonds. Fast forward to the end of 2024 and he proposes with a ring that is nothing like any of the pictures I had sent him. It was a large diamond and a silver band with diamonds wrapping around the band. I said, yes, I'd marry him but not with that ring. He was incredibly upset and I was very confused. I asked him why he'd get that ring knowing I don't like diamonds or silver. He said the women he worked with liked it and the salespeople at the store, obviously they would. I asked if he'd shown any of them the pictures of rings I had sent him and he said, no. He really had no reasoning for it. It would be considered a beautiful ring by many, and when I looked it up on the company's website it was very expensive, between $6K and $8K. The rings I liked were between $400 and $1,200. But it felt like he bought a ring for a woman, any woman, not me. He said he wanted me to have something to show off, but I feel like it was more so for him to show off. Luckily he was able to return it. Now it's been a couple months and everything has gone back to normal, except he says we aren't engaged. He says he was very hurt and I can understand that to an extent. But I feel like he did it to himself. He took all the knowledge he had of me and all the tools I gave him and threw them away. I'm ready to move past it and look toward the future, but he says he can't yet. So my question is, how do we move forward from this? Too long did not read. My partner proposed with a ring he knew I wouldn't like, I rejected it and now he can't move past it. Where do we go from here? Dude is focused on the wrong thing. He was asking for a wife, not validation in his jewelry aesthetics. He got a yes. The rest is irrelevant. Also, people, if you must use a ring, propose with a cheap placeholder ring and then go ring shopping together. Very romantic and everyone leaves happy. Or, propose and then go ring shopping. Or, discuss your future plans like adults, jointly decide to get married, and then go ring shopping. The surprise proposal thing is really just silly and unnecessary. This is tricky. I do want to say that you were perfectly valid in objecting to the ring. Some commenters might say that you should have accepted it. But you were very clear over the years about what you like, what you don't like, and you even gave him lots of picture references. All he had to do was show these pictures to any salesperson and they should be able to work with it. So how to move on from this? How do you feel about him? Do you still want to marry him? Or does the fact that he's so ready to be swayed by other people's opinion giving you cause for concern? So he fucked up a rather big moment in your lives and then acted petulant about it. Hey, maybe you should look deeper at the fact that at a crucial moment he went, I guess the opinions of random people mean more than the very upfront stated opinion of the person who matters the most. To me, the proposal is a look at the marriage. The thought you get there is about the long and short of what you're going to get post-nuptials. What bothers me is that he put so little thought into it and he's mad. So this is coming from a pretty dense man myself here, but if you sent him pictures of what you wanted in an engagement ring and he didn't even think about what you actually wanted, then I'd be asking, is this a pattern? If it's not a pattern, then you just need to sit him down and make him have an adult conversation where you apologize for rejecting the ring, but he's got to also apologize for ignoring your clear wants for an engagement ring and figure out how the two of you will move forward, what each of you needs to be engaged and married in the timeline. As a man, I could only wish my partner would do the hard work for me in basically spelling out the exact ring they wanted, which is exactly what you did. He went rogue and it's his own fault. Tell him that it's nothing personal, but you want the ring that you want for yourself, and that he didn't listen despite you being clear on what you wanted. If this is the hill he's willing to die on, then you'll know that the issue is larger than just a ring. He literally took the opinion of another woman over yours, about a ring meant for you. You have every right to be hurt and confused. Please don't let this dude gaslight you. He screwed up and is trying to make you feel about it. His "we're not engaged" is petty and should be seen as a red flag. Why does my M21 boyfriend keep embarrassing me, F19, in front of people about my volume? So a little context, I've had a burst eardrum which has left me partially deaf in my left ear. Also being in mind, the only time I've ever been called loud by anyone but my partner is when I'm drunk, which is understandable as a lot of people are. Now my partner's been doing this for a while. I get slightly louder when I'm excited or happy. This happened before my hearing loss and was never a problem. Since the hearing loss, he's been shouting at me about how loud I am all the time when I know I'm talking at a normal volume. After all, one of my ears still works and I can feel how loud I'm being. It really upsets me when he does this in front of people when I'm excited to see someone, passionate about what I'm talking about, or just giggling with friends. He'll cut me off mid-sentence to tell me to be quiet or suggest I need hearing aids. Being in mind, nobody else seems to pick up on this supposed volume change. It feels like he's trying to embarrass me, and when I've asked him to stop as it hurts my feelings, he argues with me and tells me how loud I'm being while trying to talk to him about this. I feel like I can't win, and I'm not sure how to even talk to him about this and it getting through to him. Any advice would be helpful, thanks. That sounds super manipulative. He sees you happy but immediately tries to bring you down. Lol. He's bullying you because he wants to. He's trying to train you to stop speaking as soon as he says you're getting loud. He'll pretend it's out of concern, but it's not. You know your volume is fine. Your friends and family have affirmed that your volume is fine. Your healthcare provider thinks your volume is fine. Your boyfriend is the anomaly, and I'll bet he's not a hearing specialist. Sounds like he's using your disability against you to make you nervous and insecure, especially when you're happy about something. He's trying to dull your spirit and get you to suppress your emotions. It just sounds like he doesn't want you to feel joy. I believe you when you say you know how loud you are actually being. I really wouldn't feel comfortable in a relationship like this. Weaponizing someone's disability is the cruelest thing anyone could do. Emo. He thinks putting you down is fun, and he will never return the love you're putting into him. Is that how you want to spend the rest of your life? He's an obnoxious awe. You have two choices: put up with his bullying or dump his $1. I would choose the latter. You do not need his permission to leave him. You can't get through to him because he doesn't care. The fact that this didn't start until after you became partially deaf shows that he is definitely doing this to make you feel embarrassed about being yourself or insecure about how severe your hearing loss really is. Either way, his goal is for you to become a quiet shell of yourself, for some bizarre reason. And that's not a good kind of boyfriend to have.